Hello and welcome to today's edition of Noshing with Nashies. We are going to make chocolate chip pumpkin bread with cream cheese icing. And for that we are going to need some flour, some baking soda, some brown sugar, some vanilla, some pumpkin, some regular sugar and a little bit of milk, some oil, salt, some powdered sugar, about 4 ounces of cream cheese, some butter, a couple of eggs, some pumpkin spice seasoning blend, and some chocolate chips. The first thing we're going to do is preheat our oven to 350 degrees, and we are going to grease a loaf pan. You can line it with parchment paper if you wish, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to spray it with some nonstick spray. So let's get to making this yummy bread. All right, let's start us off with our dry ingredients, and here sugar is going to be considered a wet ingredient because we want that to dissolve in the wets for our bread. All right, in this bowl, which I love, it's so old, it has a pour spout. I have placed 2 cups of flour, and then I am going to come in here with 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 3 teaspoons or a little bit more of pumpkin spice, and a half a teaspoon of salt. Just going to pour that in there and give it a little mix around so everybody is incorporated. All right, and then we're going to set this to the side and we're going to work on our wets here. All right, in my Pyrex here, I have 1 1/4 cup of pumpkin. I am going to add to it 2 room temperature eggs, like so. Then I'm going to add a half a cup of avocado oil. You can use any neutral flavored oil that you have. That's perfectly fine. You can grow your own olive trees. That's perfectly fine. You can do whatever you like. All right, we're going to come in with a half a cup of regular granulated sugar and a half a cup of packed light brown sugar. You can use light or dark. Light works out great for this one because the dark just gets a little more molassesy is what it is. And then we are going to come in with about a tablespoon of vanilla. And I never measure this because I like a little bit of extra vanilla. But a tablespoon is usually a good amount for vanilla in anything waffles, pancakes. And now I will let you watch this in fast motion. We are just going to do a nice little mixy-mixy of all of our wets. If your brown sugar is a little bit lumpy, like you can see there are a few lumps in here, usually with the whisking it gets rid of that, but if you need to, just put your hand in there and pull them apart. They'll dissolve into the mixture. All right, now I've got our dry here, and I'm just going to pour in our wet. Just get it in there. It already smells like pumpkin pie. This is a great one if you don't feel like fully making a pumpkin pie or something like that, but you still want that flavor. This is a great way to do it. That's fairly fast and easy. And I'll tell you another trick because we're going to be topping this off with a little bit of a cream cheese frosting, but if you didn't want to, because the holidays are coming up, people are going to be spending time together with family. Go ahead and just mix everything together gently. People will be spending time with family. If you wanted to make up a loaf of this and then cut it up and make French toast for everybody in the morning, it will be a major treat. Tastes super good. You'll have basically pumpkin pie chocolate chip French toast. Super yummy. We just want to make sure that all of the flour gets incorporated in here. I may do a short showing how to make the French toast just because. All right, I'm going to switch over to a spatula. And the debate goes on with this particular kind of spatula. Do you call it a regular spatula, a rubber spatula? I think somebody called it a fish flipper or something on Reddit. Do you call it a scraper? Because it seems to be a regional thing. I just call a spatula, like for burgers, a spatula. I call this a rubber spatula or a cake froster because I usually use them to frost my cakes. All right, now that we've got everything incorporated here, we're going to go ahead and come in with 3/4 to a cup of miniature chocolate chips. I like a few. And we're just going to gently fold those in. We don't want to overwork our batter. But we also want them evenly distributed. Get coated there, flour. Thank you. All right, I'm just gonna bring my loaf pan over here and we'll put it in. Here is my greased up loaf pan, and we're just going to, and again, you can grease this, put in some parchment paper, throw a little bit more of that nonstick spray in there if you like to do it this way. I found that this one doesn't stick too bad, so should be just fine. I believe this is a 5x9 bread pan here. Costco, Nordic Ware. That's a nice thick batter. Oh, it smells like Christmas and the holidays. And I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to flatten out our mix. If the little gets up on the edges, don't worry about it too much. It is going to poof, so we are good. But always try and make sure that the middle isn't higher than the rest of the bread because it will bake unevenly. And just like so. All right, that looks perfect. I've got my oven preheated to 350 degrees behind me, and we are going to bake this for 55 to 65 minutes until a toothpick in the center comes out clean. So I will see you all to make the frosting in about 60 minutes or so. Bread is out of the oven and it is beautiful. It took me the full 65 minutes to bake this because it's a big loaf. I'm going to let it cool in the pan for 10 minutes and then flip it out onto a wire cooling rack, and then we will make our frosting up. All right, my bread is nice and cool, so let's make up our frosting here. We've got 4 ounces of cream cheese softened to room temperature, and that's a half a block, and then 4 tablespoons of butter, which is a half a stick of butter, and we just want to make sure they are super soft. You can see here. Kind of get them whipping together. And you can serve up your French toast with that cream cheese frosting on the top, which will be so yummy. All right, we're going to come in with 1 cup of powdered sugar. I'm going to kind of add it here a little bit of at a time to incorporate it. And I'm going to come in with 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to come in with about a teaspoon of milk that I have to the side here. And it's about 1 to 3 teaspoons of milk. If you want it thicker, hold back on the milk. If you want it thinner, more glaze-like, then go ahead and put more milk in there. And it will be perfection. You can see how that comes together easy peasy. Go ahead and go in with the rest of my powdered sugar there. Just give it a mixy-mixy. It's a great frosting for all kinds of things. It's just a standard cream cheese. I want it just slightly thinner, so I'm going to put in 1 more teaspoon of milk. Because this will be stored in the refrigerator. It also freezes very nicely. And so naturally our frosting will get a little bit harder than if it's sitting on the counter. But I want it to spread beautifully. And just make sure everybody's incorporated, and that is how we have our frosting. I'm going to go ahead and bring over our bread, and we will frost it up and then do the finale. You can see our beautiful loaf of chocolate chip pumpkin bread here. Perfect for this season. Perfect for family gatherings, particularly if you're kind of new to cooking and baking. This one is not hard for a novice. Breads are very forgiving, which is one of the reasons that I like them, because baking is probably my weakest point in the kitchen, other than seafood, because I do not eat it because I am allergic. We will just take this And you can naturally do colors on this too as well. And we'll just kind of do all over the top here. And if it does drip down, that's fine. If you like it thin, that's fine. If you like it thick, that's fine. Again, like I said, you can do a glaze with this. And it's a good recipe to have around if you want to whip up a quick frosting. And as always, the recipe will be in the description. And please say hey in the comments if you feel like it. Give a like to the video if you've hung around this long. Helps us get in the algorithm. My channel is powered by my subs. Ooh, look at that. That is a beautiful pumpkin loaf. I'm going to let this sit for just a few minutes, and then we will cut into this and have a little taste. All right, here it is, all nice and sliced up, our chocolate chip pumpkin bread with cream cheese icing. I'm going to give it a little taste here because it's a new recipe to me. I made it for the first time. I made it up today. That has the perfect amount of the pumpkin spice in it. Just gives it such a rich kind of holiday flavor. It's not too sweet because we only used a half a cup of the sugars, and then we've got that lovely cream cheese icing that has that zing, that acid that cuts into the sweetness of this chocolate chip pumpkin loaf of bread. So this is 10 out of 10 from Nashies. I came up with a good one. Thank you so much for joining me for today's edition of Noshing with Nashies. If you have enjoyed, please like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye! Okay, additional note after I've been kind of tasting this for a bit. It's very much like soft gingerbread. This is fantastic. Yes, I recommend this. Make this for your families for the holidays. All right, that's it for October. I'll see you all in November. Bye.